but protecting the public from lethal psychiatric practices and defending the rights of its victims is the Citizens Commission on Human Rights.
Jan Eastgate has been charged for a second time in Sydney today. Last year, Ms Eastgate was charged with perverting the course of justice in relation to allegations she coached an 11-year-old girl to lie to police and community services about the sexual abuse she suffered at the hands of her Scientologist stepfather. Today, she was charged with another offence relating to perverting the course of justice. Ms Eastgate is the international president of the Citizens Commission on Human Rights, an organisation founded by the Church of Scientology. She was awarded the Church's Freedom Medal for promoting human rights in 1988.
There is a group working to restore personal liberty for all. United for Human Rights, tirelessly advancing equal rights for all humankind.
And I don't know real churches who demand families to break apart if one feels that they should leave the church, and their policies actually mandate to destroy people's lives. It actually has doctrine that says that.
Thousands of women and children are being smuggled across the border.
Sexual trafficking of children. As you can see right here, they were treated like animals. They worked all day long for no pay.
Sweatshops rated.
I signed my contract when I was 8 years old.
And what was the contract for?
It was the billion-year contract.
Billion-year contract.
Mm-hmm.
The work schedule for children in this hellhole was full-time, hard, and without reward. You were working 35 hours a week when you were 8 years old. How many hours a week did that grow by?
As soon as I turned 15, I was doing 7 days a week, 14-hour days.
See, that's 100 hours a week.
Yeah.
There is an answer to the nightmare of addiction. The Narconon Drug Rehabilitation Program.
Narconon has strong ties to the Church of Scientology.
It is based on the discovery that drug residues apparently remain trapped in the body's fatty tissues.
This is not science. It has been disproven. Toxins are dispelled from the body over a period of time, and they do not reside permanently in fatty tissues. And why can't Scientology acknowledge that?
After a person has withdrawn from drugs, Narconon then works with them on a series of unique courses to help isolate the people they should and should not associate with.
And what were they getting into? A crash course in Scientology. Patients are called students, and they study a series of 8 books based on the writings of Scientology founder L. Ron Hubbard.
They can confront their own problems and solve their own problems, and so bring themselves up by their own bootstraps.
Last year, we reported on 3 young people who died there within 9 months.
Well, it's definitely embarrassing. You know, I don't go around telling people that I meet that, oh yeah, I used to be in a cult. You know, I
used to be in a cult.
Yeah, wasted this time doing this activity that I thought was right, when in actual fact it's just pseudoscience.
Heroin, OCs,
Narcos,
Smurfs, 80s, Big Boys, Dollar Bill, Green Goblin, painkillers. Painkillers are derived from opium. They're used for medical purposes.
They're a manufactured substance.
They're like a synthetic heroin.
It's basically as powerful as heroin, and it will affect your nervous system in the same way.
Hubbard's son from his first marriage, Nibs, claimed the book stemmed from an unusual piece of drug-driven research.
LRH gave his son Nibs some amphetamines.
Why did you leave the church?
I wasn't making any money, because all the money flows, of course, to my father, always has. I was also tired of the fraud and the deception, plus his deep involvement in personal use of drugs on himself and others, black magic.
Because the acts of others profoundly affect one's life, by presenting copies of The Way to Happiness to friends and associates, one improves his own survival by restoring morality to those around him, helping them better survive and lead happier lives. In turn, they pass copies of the book on to those whose lives they influence.
I think it's about just getting new people to fund money so that it can be funded up to the Church of Scientology. Nothing else but that, at all.
So just a money-making...
Big time. There's no other intention whatsoever.
Applied Scholastics, bringing effective learning to educators and students everywhere. Educators trained by Applied Scholastics take the technology straight into classrooms. From the Applied Scholastics schools in Denmark to the network of Delphian academies across the United States.
It can turn around anyone's education difficulties and change one's life.
Dr. Kevin Donnelly is the director of the Education Standards Institute.
There are a lot of claims made for it, but I've seen very little evidence to support those claims.
That hasn't stopped Scientologist Kate Ceberano being Yarralinda School's patron, or Tom Cruise, the global ambassador for Applied Scholastics. In Germany, schools that use it are heavily monitored. The Berlin Education Department even calling it psychologically damaging.
And I am supremely grateful to Mr. L. Ron Hubbard for the study technology he provided.
So it is that for every 10 released, 7 go on to commit another assault, another robbery, or worse. But there is a way to reform the criminal and return to society productive, contributing citizens. Criminon, dedicated to effective criminal reform and rehabilitation.
I mean, for one, David Miscavige is personally responsible for assault and battery. That's illegal, right?
If any Scientologist who's in good standing gets involved in a problem, they pull out all the resources that anyone could imagine to protect that person and to try to remove them from any adverse consequence from normal government administration.
Why did these Scientologists die? What part did Scientology play in their mysterious deaths?
There's also human rights violations, right? I also have personal knowledge of violation of child labor laws, right? Children are only supposed to work X number of hours a day. Church Scientology and the Sea Organization specifically could care less about WOG law.
You say that ethics are very important to a Scientologist.
Very to me. I do.
Therefore, you commit crimes going after Paulette Cooper. You forge letters that bring her up on federal charges that she's going to be a bomb thrower.
And if you were worried about your son or daughter being in a cult, you could get help from a small nonprofit organization called the Cult Awareness Network, or CAN. For 20 years, the nation's best-known resource for information and advice about groups it considered dangerous. Among them was Scientology, a church not known for turning the other cheek. Cynthia Kisser says the church's final assault on CAN began when hundreds of Scientologists from around the country wrote virtually identical letters asking to become members of CAN. Included among them was this model letter with instructions to be put in your own words. Fearing, she says, the church was out to take control of CAN, Kisser denied their applications to join. CAN was then hit with a barrage of lawsuits by individual Scientologists claiming religious discrimination. I got hit with 12 suits in 1 week. In all, CAN was hit with more than 50 lawsuits. Even though most of the suits were eventually dropped or won by CAN, she says the cost of defending them, nearly $2 million, drove CAN to the brink of bankruptcy. Today, CAN is under new management. Last year, a member of the church bought CAN's name, logo, and hotline number in bankruptcy court for $20,000. Hello, Cult Awareness Network. Now when you call looking for information about a cult, chances are the person you're talking to is a Scientologist.
See, here's the problem. You don't know the history of psychiatry. I do.
You're glib when you don't know, and I do.